sligo goes wild has been put off because of the bad weather. Thank you very much to BDP for giving me an opportunity to do it later in the month and hone my woodland activity skills. Today we're doing some badger tracking, and I'll give you a little taste of that before the event at the end of the month, and we'll learn some facts about badgers along the way and maybe some other wild animals.
Now, as you might know, you don't see a lot of badgers during the day just walking about, but might be nearby because they can get food. Maybe we've got compost heaps they can raid, chickens they can bother, etc. Black, and they've got those distinctive black stripes on their white faces. They are mostly blind, but that doesn't matter because, as I've just said, they come out at night to do their hunting, and they can live for up to an amazing 14 years.
Badgers live in things called setts. This is the main set at Balnamoon Croft. It has over 7 openings, and it's a few years old. You can see how big the opening is here. Animals like rabbits and foxes can take over old setts, but the familiar thing about setts is that they're built against walls or mounds of earth just like this. Once upon a time this area was dug out for a wetland, and the result of that has spawned all sorts of different types of wildlife. Badgers can live in extended families called clans. There are smaller setts that are known as satellites, and these can be the result of badgers leaving the set when they're young cubs, about 4 months old, making new territories, or they can be day beds for badgers as well if they're not quite far away from the main set. They can also be used as birthing chambers for the sows, the female badgers. Around this time of year, badgers are building up their fat reserves, so going out hunting a lot and storing things in their sets. Badgers are omnivores, which means they eat a big variety of food, and they're quite opportunistic with what they eat. But 80% of their diet is made up of earthworms. So apart from the earthworms, they also eat berries and nuts. They can eat small mammals, and they can also eat some insects as well. As part of Go Wild in Sligo, we're going to do an activity which we'll do later in the month now, which involves gathering food and bedding to help our badgers get ready for winter. So let's look at some of the types of food that they'll find around here. It's common for badgers to eat fruit that's fallen off the bushes at this time of year. One example of that is your raspberries. They will also eat rose hips. In fact, quite a lot of wildlife will eat rose hips, hawthorn berries, blackberries, blackcurrants, gooseberries, anything they can find really. Even apples. Orchards are a common place to find badgers. This is another tree that the badgers frequent in the badgers' wood. It's a hazel tree, and some years, not this year so much, it produces a lot of hazel nuts, which obviously are very nice to humans as well as badgers. The wild cherry or gean tree. This is one of the things that the badger might like to eat if it falls to the ground. Sycamore seeds or helicopters. Probably the main reason that there is a large badger population at Balnamoon is because of the expansive farming land, which provides a lot of food for the badgers and a lot of space for their territories because they can be quite far-reaching. Badgers eat cereals like barley, wheat and oats. Ooh, there's a snuffle hole, and guess what's in it? An earthworm! Yum. So what have we got here? We've got a molehill and... So that's one of our small mammals that a badger will actually eat. And they're very easy if they're to get for a badger because they have these incredibly sharp claws, which means they can pull, if you see here, that's just solid earth there, and they've pulled that away with their claws and then stuck their noses in. Now we have come to the edge of a badger's territory, and the reason I know that is because they mark the edge of their territories with communal toilets known as latrines, and this one has been a very busy one, and it's actually a wee bit smelly, a little bit. As you see, we've got a nice fresh badger poo, and if you keep looking in, there's even more in there. Badger poo contains the badger musk, which lets neighbouring territories know that this is their spot. This is some evidence of badgers. They like to claw trees, and it's kind of a way of communication for the badgers. It tells other badgers basically that they've been there, and it marks certain points of the territory. So funnily enough, this isn't far away from the SETT at the moment. You can tell this is a badger because the amount of marks their claws have made. So I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4 and actually 5 there. And also think about the height of a badger as well as to where you see the claw marks. Another way to track badgers is to follow the paths that they make. They will use these paths daily for hunting and walking around their territories. And they become more defined as the grass dies down. You can see there's one actually, the badger woods, that goes all the way round the back trees, where I believe there is another small SETT. Here's another well-worn badger path, probably used by deer and foxes as well. Keep an eye out for one that goes underneath the fence, because sometimes you can find hares on the barbed wire. Not today. Oh, we better be quiet. There's some wildlife nearby. This is one very specific to place. The lesser spotted scarf. Good opportunity for a bit of foraging as well. The brambles are just coming in. Why don't you go and get some yourselves? I can't be certain. There's a lot of other prints around, but this looks like the kind of print a badger would make because of the big indent on the front paw. Let's see. You can often mistake dog prints, but they've got 5 toes and 5 long claws usually in their prints, so let's keep looking. Quite often
in a badger set, and the reason why I don't think this is a badger set, there are big earth mounds because their claws are designed for digging. They dig, and if there's any stones that they're digging, their claws are so sharp that they leave the marks of their claws on the stones. And I think this is another fox den, because there seems to be, you see here, a little fox print here. That's not a badger's print, to not be confused. This badger territory runs by the side of one of our fields, which the badgers must use, potentially, for other homes and a badger path. One of the main threats to badger populations, apart from not getting enough food to overwinter, is of course traffic and the decrease in habitation due to extending farming practice and housing development. It's particularly the cubs that are at risk with the traffic when they get thrown out of the setts at 4 months old. So when you see badgers on the road, it can quite often be young badgers